Now, last night was the Pride of Britain Awards, and the winner of the Lifetime Achievement Award was Jill Allen King, who won for being a leading campaigner for the blind.
Well, in her speech, Jill mentioned how her efforts have changed the lived experience of blind and partially sighted people across the nation. We are delighted to say Jill joins us now in the studio. Jill, thank you very much. I know you said you've come in. It's been a late night.
Very late.
So, thanks for coming in for us first thing.
Thank you.
Just explain, what award was it that you got yesterday?
It was the Lifetime Achievement Award for all the work that I've done voluntarily, well, since I went totally blind when I was 64. In 1964, not when I was 24, wow. And it was 1964.
So what happened to you then?
Initially, I was born fully sighted, but I had measles on my first birthday in 1941. And I had to have my left eye completely removed. And the other eye, I only had about 80% of vision, and I really should have gone to a special school for blind children, because that's what used to happen in those days. But my mum didn't want me to go to a special school. She wanted me to live at home. I was the only child. My dad was away in the army. And so I grew up with partial sight. I had a good artificial eye, wore glasses, so nobody really knew. And my mum didn't want me to tell anybody. And I just lived a normal life. I went to an ordinary school. I took my medals for ballroom and Latin American dancing. I was trained in hotel and catering. And I worked in the City of London for 7 years as a chef. And I was a captain in the Girls' Life Brigade. And I rode a bike. Not on the pavements, though.
No, good,
we weren't allowed to in those days.
But then life changed dramatically.
Yes, I saved up 5 years to get married. And at my wedding reception, I went totally blind.
At the reception?
Yeah, at my wedding reception. I'd had not a dream, but my eye had gone blurry the night before. My dad had phoned the doctor, and he just said, it's nerves. And in the morning, yes, I got up and I got dressed, and, I got married, got to the wedding reception, and all my eye went blurry again. And eventually, long story, it's all written in my book.
So let me hold the book
Just
up.
Jill. That's just Jill.
Just Jill.
That's my
There you go. And then you've got Jill's leading ladies. Oh, your 6 guide dogs.
My 6 guide dogs.
Now, I should point out that Jagger, who you've got under the table here, who's your guide dog, I'm just going to hold this up for our viewers at home who are watching on TV. Where's camera 3? There you go. And that's Jagger's medal that he's been awarded.
Yes, Paul O'Grady they presented me with mine first, my big angel that they give you, and then Jagger was presented with that, and he got a standing ovation of his own.
Oh, I bet he did. I bet he did.
But one thing you've done, Jill, is try to make life easier for people who are partially sighted or living with blindness, and things like access with guide dogs, simple things we would assume you already had access to.
Yes, well, when I went after I went totally blind, I spent 7 years virtually housebound, never going out on my own. I had no confidence to go out on my own. Had my daughter to bring up, and it wasn't until 1971 that I decided to go for a guide dog, Topsy, who changed my life completely. But from the work, even before I went for her, I was told by somebody that I wouldn't be allowed in a store in Southend. Although it was a clothing shop that had a cafe, and I was told I wouldn't be allowed in there. And the first thing I did when I got home, the next morning, thrilled to bits that I could take Jacqueline to the library on my own, without my husband coming. And I was told to wait outside with Topsy.
Oh.
And so from then on, there were so many places we weren't allowed to go with guide dogs. Restaurants, cafes, all sorts of House of Commons, on the railways. We weren't allowed to travel in sleeping cars or dining cars. We couldn't go to take them to Pontins or Butlins holiday camps. So that's what I did. I did a lot of campaigning, and eventually, things did get better. But there were still so many other issues, like the pavements. And 1978, on behalf of the National Federation of the Blind, we launched the Give Us Back Our Pavements campaign, because they were the things that stopped me from going out then and stopped blind. 200 people go blind every day in this country. And there's just so many hazards which the public could help cut back their overhanging.
And you've made their lives easier, which has been recognised yesterday. Thank you so much, and huge congratulations.
I wish we had more time to chat, but we look forward to hearing what you had to say last night when it sort of aired on television on Thursday. Thank you so much, Jill,
Thank you very much for having me.
Thanks, Jagger.